Thank you. We do have a full agenda this evening, so we're gonna get through this. My name is Amelia Folks. I am the chair. For our new folks, just a little bit about the Eugene Police Commission and what we do. So we are a group of 12 Eugene citizen volunteers who act in an advisory capacity to the city council, the city manager, and chief of police. We provide recommendations based on our citizens' lens. On EPD policy practices and resource allocations. We do not have the ability to make or change policy. We only offer our opinions and suggestions. We do not review or take complaints. So basically, we have no superpowers other than being awesome Eugenians. So with that, we are actually going to try something a little different. Bear with me, I'm new here, so I'm working as I move along here. So thank you for your patience. So we're going to start with public comment first. I know that's a little different than what we've done, but we're going to try this and move on with that. So Holly, do we have anybody signed up for public comment this evening?
We had one person sign up that goes by the name Benjamin. Benjamin, if you're in the chat, could you please, in the waiting room, could you please raise your hand? And I'm not readily seeing Benjamin's name in the waiting room.
Okay.
Unless they go by something else.
Right, Benjamin. Happy to have you. One last call for Benjamin.
And they can always email me. They emailed me earlier. If you want to email me and let me know if you're going by a different name in the waiting room, I will look for you.
Okay. So moving along, should we just move along at this point? Okay. So the next point of order is to review and approve the agenda. I am going to pass it along to the chief as he has some comments for a possible agenda change with some new info. So chief, would you mind sharing?
Yes, thank you, our brand new chair. We're excited to have you in that role, and we think you're going to do awesome. So thanks for serving, and welcome to the new commissioners. I'll do some more of my chief's comments, but for purposes of the agenda, one thing I wanted to offer as a way of an agenda adjustment for your consideration is we are scheduled to take a look at policy 1204, which is our ALPR policy. Automated license plate reader policy. As you know, that has been a very, very significant topic for discussion throughout our community. And since the last time you've met, there's been a couple of things that have happened that I wanted to offer to see if this is still the right time to discuss this policy. Probably the most important thing is that City Council in their last council meeting have decided to have a work session specifically for the ALPR technology, which is going to be on October 8th. And that particular work session will be a really deep dive into the technology, the contract, the procurement process. So you get a really good foundational understanding of what ALPR is and how it functions in the community. I wanted to offer that up as a possibility of a foundational education for you all as you make decisions around policy, and whether or not it's beneficial to wait until you see that till you start making decisions about policy. Two other things that are happening is that I'm in active negotiations with our vendor Flock to adjust the contract around data security and data sharing, and their attorneys are reviewing some very strict contract language that we would like to have in the contract. So that will likely change the policy if I'm able to get us where we need to be. And number two, and I totally forgot what the number two is. We are actively engaged with the auditor's office about civilian oversight of this system as well as an active audit process. And again, if we get to something that makes sense for our independent police auditor, our civilian oversight to be involved in auditing this particular technology, that likely too would change the policy. So I offer that up as a way of asking if now's the right time, or if you'd wait. If we do anything tonight, that's fantastic. we will likely have to revisit it again after we make these other changes.
Thank you so much, Chief. So with that, commissioners, with that information, would anybody like to make a motion at this time to postpone? Speaking about the automated license plate readers policy 1204. I have two hands.
Oh, do we just,
Oh, I'm learning. Thank you, Martha Espinoza Blank. Commissioner Blank, Espinoza Blank, please. Are you wanting to, I apologize. Are you in agreement of postponing it?
I am. Do you just want me to raise my hand or do you want me to say,
Oh, that's a great idea. If you all can raise your hand, if you're unable to raise your hand in the Zoom land, if you want to just say yes in your name, that would be helpful. Again, thank you as I learn and navigate this for the first time.
okay, so Martha says yes, I would like to postpone it.
Chair, I move that we postpone further discussion of this policy until after the October work session with City Council. I think you might need a motion in a second.
Second.
Okay, so moved. I'm learning, y'all. Okay, so we will hold off on the automated license plate reader policy 1204 at a later date, and we'll discuss that possibly maybe November after
Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jack Rady.
I apologize, Chair. You might want, oh,
We had a motion made and it was seconded. We have to vote on it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Rady. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second, so now we need to vote. My apologies. So all in favor of postponing and the ALPR Readers 1204 policy until a later date to get further information, please say aye.
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 Chair,
Yes.
point of order. I mean, I think it works fine here, but generally when there's a motion on the table, once it's been moved and seconded, then you open it up for discussion. And then we go to the vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Groves or Councilperson Groves. All right. Thank you very much. Should we open it up and speak with it before voting? I'm so sorry.
I don't think it matters this time, but just as a point of order for the future, that would, then we get to discuss it before we actually vote.
Thank you, Councilor Groves. I appreciate the feedback. And for all commissioners, again, I am new. I have my little cheat sheet on Robert's rules, but please feel free to speak up and help me along the way. I much appreciate your input. Okay, so
Chair,
Holly-
I'll just note that I abstained. I just want it for the record that I abstained because I joined after the discussion or after the presentation of the.
thank you,
motion.
Commissioner Neal. Holly, do we have a vote count?
Yes.
Okay. And is that approved?
It is.
Thank you. Okay. So, next up on our agenda, previous meeting recap. So last meeting was July. We had discussed at that time, the ALPR 1204 policy as well as the immigration law policy 305. And I'm, to be perfectly honest, not entirely sure. Would anybody like to speak for previous meeting cap? Is there anything else I need to speak to as chair? Okay. All right.
Sorry, just as someone who wasn't there, it would be helpful to hear from commission members about the public comment that was received and your sort of discussion about that or general comments that might be a part of this motion that I think it was delayed until we're delaying a topic until next board meeting. So yeah, it could be helpful for me to sort of understand the context of that. I don't know if anybody else missed July, but.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. Okay, so yes, Would we like to open it up for discussion to discuss last meeting? Do I need a motion? No? Okay, well, let's chat, shall we? I can provide a little info. So we had probably, at least from my understanding, at least since I've been on the commission a little over a year, July of 2024. And it was the largest turnout we've had for public comment. We had, don't quote me, maybe 40-ish folks. I apologize. I don't know the actual number, but we did have a very large turnout for folks wanting to speak regarding ICE and the automated license plate readers, or ALRPs. So we had a lot of public comment regarding that. We had acting in chief Burke, who came and discussed with us the ALRP system program as a whole. He is, I believe, the designated subject matter expert, or SME, for the ALRP system at this time. So he spoke to us a little bit about that. I'm gonna go back to our previous agenda here and see what else I've missed. We had some new commissioners join us. We have Martha Espinoza Blank, and we have Katie Wilgus joining us. We do have, I believe, 3 open spots at this time. I believe 2 may have been filled, but we don't have that information as of yet. And then the third to be determined. So 3 at this point we're waiting to hear on. Let's see here. We have had some, we have had some changes in leadership. I'm now your chair, and I'll speak a little bit to that. So, former Chair Hawkins resigned, as well as former Commissioner Parham. And I personally want to say that their time, energy, and passion that they brought to this commission is valued and greatly appreciated. Their contributions are lasting, are real, and made lasting impacts. And I learned a great deal from both of them. I'm very, very grateful for their time with us. One of the things that I really value about this commission as a whole is it is a place for folks to speak, speak how they feel, speak their thoughts. And as a commission that is made up of Eugene citizens, I think that diversity is really important. Also with that, moving forward, making sure that I wrote a little something so I'd have some thoughts because I get nervous. Just we put a lot of work into the fiscal year 26-27 work plan. Very excited for this opportunity to work with you all and move forward in that work plan. And also making this a safe space for all to be able to feel heard and included as we move forward. So thank you, former Chair Hawkins and Commissioner Parham, for all your wonderful work. With that, I stepped into the chair role. There we have it. I think that covers the majority of it.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you for asking. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So, looking at approving the July 10th minutes. Does anybody have a motion to review and discuss the July 2025 EPD Commission meeting? Jack Rady? Commissioner Rady?
Yeah, I would move that we accept the minutes, adopt the minutes. There are, for those who were not at the last meeting, they're pretty detailed and accurate account of what happened. There was one item that I'm not sure got included, but I think you can get a good sense of them by reading the minutes or watching the video. It's all on archive. But I moved to accept the minutes. We'll
Second.
need a second.
All right, we have a second. All right. So does that mean we get to talk or we're going to vote?
It's a procedural motion, so we should vote on it. It doesn't require discussion unless someone has something they want to object to in the minutes.
Thank you. All right, do we have any objections?
No.
Thank you, commissioners. All right, let's put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All in, any nays or abstentions?
I'll abstain.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. Holly, do we have a vote?
Yes,
And did we pass
yes, with
Thank
one
you.
abstention.
with one abstention? Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so next up on our agenda, we're actually moving through this much faster than I thought we would, y'all. All right, so electing an interim vice chair for the fiscal year of 2026. Would anybody like to be my chair? I will say that again, I'm learning and growing in this role. And I could absolutely use your knowledge and support. And yeah. You can nominate yourself, you can nominate another human. Oh, I guess I have to ask, does any put a motion, excuse me. We move to elect an interim vice chair for the fiscal year of 2026. I move, do I have a second?
It doesn't require a motion. You just announced that we're going to have the election. What we require is we require candidates. Someone has to either volunteer or someone has to nominate somebody.
Thank you, Commissioner Adie. I appreciate all you commissioners guiding me along the way here. Would anybody like to volunteer?
Chair, if there's no one else that is interested, I'm willing to help. But I will not be offended if others are interested and would be happy to withdraw if that's the case.
Give it just a moment.
I move that Commissioner Bradley be the vice chair for 26, 27 and thank him profoundly for stepping up to do that.
Oh,
If there's a second.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Okay, so do we have anybody in objection to Commissioner Bradley being vice chair? Okay, I think it's a unanimous
Chair,
yes. Oh, pardon me.
I apologize. Just one question. Since I'm technically the liaison to the police commission, is it acceptable for me to serve as a chair?
You are a
That's okay.
voting member of the
Just wanted to
police
make sure.
commission.
Okay, good deal. Just want to make sure.
Thank you, Commissioner Lyman. All right, so we put that to a vote. Well, it sounds like it's a unanimous vote. Congratulations, Vice Chair Bradley, welcome. I feel
Thank you,
like we
Chair.
need streamers or confetti. Thank you, sir. All right, so moving right along, liaisons report. Let's start just in order here. Human Rights Commission. Commissioner Bradley.
Thank you, Chair. We still haven't had our first meeting of the year for the Human Rights Commission. We did have a planning meeting in August in which we went through our work plan. It is the same work plan that we were working through last year. No significant changes at this time. Of course, that would require presentation request from City Council. We do have a new chair and new vice chair that we announced last month. Our next meeting is on the 16th, next Tuesday. We're all looking forward to it. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bradley. Next, let's see here, Commissioner Neal. Is it the Citizen Review Board?
Yeah, Civilian Review Board. That's right.
Civilians.
Yeah, so Tuesday, I'm still a little weary from travel. I just arrived back from 3 months away and a very long travel day on Monday. So I apologize if I misspeak or talk nonsense a little bit. But 2 days ago, I think it is Tuesday, we had our Civilian Review Board meeting, and we had a training topic for crisis intervention training at the police department. And officer, I was just looking at the agenda, and I'm sure someone will correct me before I find his last name. But who is the officer in charge of crisis intervention training whose name I'm forgetting?
Was it Brandon Rathje?
Yeah. No, it was not.
It was not.
Downtown officer.
Oh, man.
In any case, a very informed member of the police department came to discuss the ways that police officers and the police department engage in crisis intervention and training and resources that they have as a program. So we learned a bit about that department-wide, and had some, I think there were some ways that it was brought up that there are some ways that could be enhanced over time in the future, and that it's something that's exceptionally supported by the police department, but could always, have room for improvement. So I think there is a discussion item at the police commission potentially related to that topic, if we want to bring it up. I have not been able to read through the recommendations that were provided to the Civilian Review Board yet, but it is something that I will do in that capacity, and then maybe bring those ideas to this board once I have a chance to sort of digest that. And then we reviewed, so the main role of the Civilian Review Board is to review incidents that are investigated as possible policy violations in the police department, as many of you know, but just saying that for the people watching this meeting. And the issue that we were talking about on Tuesday was related to a discrepancy between a report filed by a police officer on scene related to a DUI citation, and then a testimony by that same officer in an administrative court related to the DUI that eventually was issued, a citation that was eventually issued for that DUI, and a question of whether there was issues of truthfulness or of appropriate behavior. This is where my brain is foggy. Issues of truthfulness were the biggest thing that we were discussing. And I think for this board, I think it's really important to know that our discussion on Tuesday was we had a lot of differing opinions about small details and whether that led to issues of truthfulness in the police department. But one of the main thrusts of the discussion was that police officers are human, and there are so much information coming to them on scene. And then sometimes, as was the case with this officer, the officer issued a citation, and then much more occurred after the citation was issued. And then the officer was asked to testify many months later on that scene, but had so much more information available to them. So their testimony probably incorporated, it seemed to me, as one of the members of the Civilian Review Board, that officer's testimony had more enriching information available to that officer during testimony that probably led to discrepancy between the report that was filed and the testimony in the administrative court. So what I wanted to communicate to this board related to that is that the complexities of police work were on display in our review of that investigation. And we agreed with many of the evaluations of that officer that there wasn't evidence that they were intentionally untruthful, that it's really just a complex job. And there was a lot of discussion about just the impact of that in police work. So you can watch the video. As Commissioner Rady said, you can watch the video, you can read our minutes to understand the full conversation, but that's my snippet of what we were discussing. And it was vibrant conversation. So, there you go.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal.
Sure.
Next is Counselor Ye.
Thanks, Chair. As you may know, we just got back from our summer break, so we have only had a couple of meetings so far. And you have already talked about the flock camera system, which is probably the main thing coming from council that is police related. So I don't think that there is anything else, although I will let Councilor Groves add anything if he can think of something.
Thank you, Councilor Ye. We are in the process of hiring a new city manager. We met with the recruiters at a work session on Monday, and that seems like it's progressing along nicely. This is probably one of the most important decisions we'll make in the next year, other than that and balancing the budget. To take us into the future. So, stay tuned on that. But Councilor Ye is correct. Not much as new has happened since Monday and Wednesday when we were back in session. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Groves. All right. So commissioner comments. Let's start with Councilor Groves.
Thank you, Chair. I really don't have much in the way of new information. I am glad that we're kind of postponing our discussion on the LPRs until we can get more information from chief and staff at the upcoming work session. I have observed that there seems to be some real discrepancies in people's understanding of how the system works, and I look forward to getting that all clarified and working through it and seeing where we can land on things. So I want to welcome you to Commissioner Chair Folks and Vice Chair Bradley. I appreciate you both stepping up for this work and leading us. And I know we're all here to help you and work through the process. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Groves. Let's see here. Commissioner Rady.
I'm looking forward to our discussion on the license plate readers. There's been a great deal of discussion online, at council meetings, and at this meeting last time. There's some very difficult issues that are going to have to be worked through, and I'm kind of looking forward to that discussion. It's not going to be an easy one, but I think we can maybe come up with something useful from it, I hope. Are we going to be able to go to the work session of the city council? Are those open to the public? Good. Okay.
They're open. They're open to the public. There is no public comment during
Right,
work sessions.
Right. I understand that. Okay. I want to express my deep regret at our loss of commissioners who have resigned. We were all looking forward to a really exciting and positive year when we came out of our planning session, and I hope we can maintain that course. I think we probably can. I'm looking forward to it, and I want to congratulate those who now have the burden of leading this commission. We will give you all the support we can, and I look forward to it. I think it's going to work well. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, Commissioner Rady. Vice Chair Bradley.
Thank you, Chair. Wanted to make mention that I did spend some time this past month talking with Chief Skinner about LPR technology and got some good information from him from the law enforcement perspective. And Chief, thank you for the time. I know your time is precious, and so it is appreciated. I've also spoken with and met with folks in the community, including advocates from Eyes Off Eugene, and looking forward to the work session and understanding the technology and the specific vendor that we have, and so that we can, advise on appropriate policy. And thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Bradley. Commissioner Espinoza Blank.
Yes, as you know, I'm new to the group and I'm looking forward to learning more and really looking into these topics and keeping my eyes and ears open and hearing from the general public and just trying to be a good representative. And I thank you for stepping up for the job.
Thank you, Commissioner Espinoza Blank. Commissioner Lyman.
Thank you, Chair. I'd echo the sentiments. Thank you, Chair and Vice Chair Bradley. That's really appreciated again. Appreciate you stepping up. Born and raised in New York City, it's September 11th. Thank you to the first responders and remembering them and the victims of that event. And thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lyman. Commissioner Neal.
I'm glad to be back after 2 months of not being here, June and July. So thanks for accepting my absences during this month, and happy to welcome new commission members. Hi, Katie. We know each other outside of this. So and Commissioner Espinoza Blank, really I'm glad to have you on the board. Commissioner Bradley, I haven't been in a meeting with you, I don't think, before. Is that true? So thanks for stepping up for Vice Chair. And I am excited to learn more about the issues that have taken the vast majority of your time over the past couple of months, which I have been reading about, but have not been part of the discussion for. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. Councilor Ye.
Thank you, Chair. First, I want to apologize for being late. My brain was on automatic and I drove straight to the police station, and that is not where we were. So I came home. So I appreciate everyone being cool with that. My only other thing is that I am getting emails that there is some confusion about how to give testimony today, and I don't know if I missed that or not. But did we provide an opportunity for folks to sign up for a testimony that did not end 45 minutes before the meeting started? Was there some confusion? I'm just checking.
So thank you, Councilor Ye, thank you. So yes, this was a new thing, and I'll talk a little bit about that during my comment time. So it was posted on the website. Public comment signups were until 4:45, and that's really, again, I'm new and I'm figuring this out as I go, and just to kind of get that group together so that we could prepare for it for public comment, and then doing public comment to start. And again, I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but
4:45 or 5:45?
4:45.
They had to sign up by 4:45.
Yes, sign up for 4:45 so that we had a list and I could plan and prepare to call people as we go.
Okay. I'll just share that I don't think that's the greatest, but I understand this is a work in progress and we're maybe trying something new. But as a person in the world, I would never show up that early for a meeting and think that I needed to be here that early to sign up. So I'm just putting it out there. It's my opinion.
Thank you.
And but that's all I've got. And thanks and thank you for the leadership that stood up. I know it's not easy to run these things, and I really appreciate you guys' willingness to do this.
Thank you, Councilor Ye. Commissioner Wilgus.
Good evening. Just another echo of thanks to Commissioner Folks and Commissioner Bradley, and echoing Councilor Groves. I am very glad that we've decided to wait to dive into the LPRs until after the council work session, which I'm looking forward to attending. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Wilgus, or Commissioner Wilgus, pardon me. All right, public comment. So, as you know, I am new. Thank you, first of all, for being all so supportive in all of this. I really appreciate it. I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm learning. I've got my Robert's Rules cheat sheet here, and I am open and welcome to all feedback to do a better job of it. The confusion around this evening, that I apologize for. So initially when the change in leadership took place, I had plans to be out of the state. And so this mission or this meeting was an option to hold I was going to say digitally, online, Zoom. And so my plans changed last minute, and that's why this meeting has been scheduled online virtually. There's the word, versus in person. So thank you all, and apologies for the last shift, the shift there. And then the public comment thing, I want to honor. I do see that we have a significant group of folks that are in attendance this evening, so thank you all for joining us tonight. The idea, my thought on public comment, so we had set it up on the website. So there was an email to email Holly directly. Quote me if, or please correct me if I'm wrong, Holly, but there was an email link to email Holly by 4:45 to submit. And again, it was just in preparation to see how many folks we had for public comment this evening and to kind of plan accordingly. So that was my ask. And trying to do it in the beginning so that maybe we as commissioners can answer some of the questions that you all have, or some of the things that you want to address during public comment. So again, this is a learning moment, and I apologize for folks who have not had the opportunity to speak this evening. We will have, moving forward, I will be away, and so there will be, I believe we're going to set up at least the next 1 or 2 meetings, if not through the end of the year, they will be virtual. And we will get better at this. I will get better at this. And we will make sure that that information is on the website so that you can plan ahead and accordingly to sign up for public comment. And I just greatly appreciate your patience with me while I learn all of this. So thank you. And like I said, I'm open to learning. I want to learn. I want to do a good job, and I want to make sure that the citizens of Eugene, we all have equal voices in sharing, how we want to help provide insight or guidance, or not guidance. I'm sorry. There's a word. Recommendations. There we go. So I want to make sure folks are heard. So again, thank you for bearing with me through all of this. We will get smoother, I promise. With that also, thank you, Commissioner Lyman. Today is September 11th. It was a big, very monumental day for our country. And thank you for all of those service folks and individuals. And I'm really nervous. Can you tell? Thank you. I appreciate all of you, truly. Thank you. Okay. Next up, Chief's report. Chief, take it away.
Well, good evening, everybody. And again, sorry for the confusion. This is not necessarily my meeting to run, but by virtue of it being called the Police Commission, that it has a tendency to be, the assumption is that we as a police department are kind of in charge of this meeting. And so I do think we're throwing a little bit of a curveball with some last minute resignations and trying to adjust our leadership. And I think Amelia is doing what I can tell you is where she's learning with respect to structure of this meeting. She is overachieving when it comes to enthusiasm and her willingness to do this work. And so a little bit of grace in this space would be much appreciated as we do this. And there'll be plenty of opportunity to be heard on the issue. I started my day at Autzen Stadium, watching as many as 300 to 400 public safety professionals and military personnel deciding to climb the equivalent of 110 floors in honor of those that gave their lives on September 11th, 24 years ago today. And it's if you've never had a chance to come to the 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb and watch the video that sets this up before these men and women and children actually and families take on this task, it's moving to say the least. I would say there's threshold events in all of our lives that we look back and we say, I know exactly where I was when this happened. And it's interesting that we have an entire generation of people that have no clue where they were when this happened, because often some of them weren't born. And for us older folks, we've got a few of those days. And I can remember exactly where I was. I can guarantee you that Councilor Groves was serving at that time, and he will tell you exactly where he was when that happened, and how profoundly it impacted not only the profession but the country at that time. And it's interesting to me that a crisis of that magnitude and the way it galvanized the country. And I look 24 years later and am a bit disheartened at how divided we are at this point in time. But that was an important way to start the day and an important way to honor those folks. Oftentimes, the true measure of loss is when the names are never spoken again. And that's what we did today, is we made sure and we spoke the names. So thank you to those families that still have sacrificed their loved ones on that day 24 years ago. Police department is continuing to hire. We're down about 21 police officers. I've made 6 job offers last week. I've got as many as 10 in background after this week's process. So we're hopeful that we're being able to make progress in our hiring, and we're moving forward with that. Our dispatch hiring is really strong. We're dangerously close to being fully staffed out of dispatch. We never want to look past our first responders, those individuals that are sitting in dispatch, listening to all of the challenges that people are going through and the trauma that they hear. I don't want to ever overlook the important work that dispatchers and call takers do in the system. But I'm encouraged by our hiring that's happening right now, and so more to come on that as we continue to move that forward. We are in the midst of football season, which is a busy time for EPD. Just as a reminder, on any given Saturday, we have as many as 55 officers that have to help put that together, to include officers from Wayne County Sheriff's Office, Springfield, and outlying areas. It is a monumental task to be able, especially with the construction that's going on right now, to get that many people in and out of the Autzen complex. But they're doing a great job, and we're enjoying some success, which is always nice. By that, whether we agree with it or not, this university is one of the economic engines of this community, and success at that level is always fun for this community to experience. And so it's just a fun time of the year to be at, and our officers are fully embracing that, as challenging as it can be. One thing that I wanted to point out, we have been, and especially for the counselors that often get so many of the emails, there have been a variety of protests that have been happening on Tuesdays down at the federal building. Those have been going on kind of week to week. I don't know if we've skipped a week or not, but they've been pretty consistent. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that people recognize when it comes to the work that happens out of there is that and we're going to talk about immigration a little bit later, but there's very little immigration work that happens out of that federal building. The thing that I want to be sensitive to when we think about the normal operations of that building is that we're serving disabled veterans out of that building, Social Security, disability recipients, as well as IRS meetings and appointments that are happening in and out of that building. So our federal government is operating a variety of things that are really important to our community in and out of that building. And so I'm just asking, as people's voices are being heard and they're peacefully protesting and letting that voice be heard in and around that area, just to be mindful that there are some people that do need to be served by the function of that building. And so just asking for that cooperation is much appreciated. We just started a new budget cycle, biennium budget. It's been a challenging budget year. We've lost a few positions here at the Eugene Police Department. We're trying to find some good rhythm as we move forward, and I'm hopeful that we will continue to do that. As you heard, on October 8th, there will be a council work session where I will be speaking and talking about the ALPR technology. I will do my very best from inception through implementation, try to touch all the bases, so to speak, on the variety of communications that I've received and that I've heard. I'm likely not going to be able to succinctly answer every question, but I'm really hoping that it'll be a good foundational, a better foundational understanding of what ALPR technology does and has been doing for the better part of a decade, and how I feel like it can be safely utilized in here in Eugene. Commissioner Neal, before you got on, part of the movement of the policy 1204 to a different date was predicated on getting that council work session under our belt. I do believe that's a virtual work session, and so you're able to watch that. And I think that'll be really good. The two other things that are happening concurrently is where I'm actively in negotiations with our vendor, Flock vendor, with adjusted contract language to tighten up some vagueness in the contract language around data sharing and data storage. We've asked them to entertain that. It's a fairly robust ask, I will say. A lot of red lines our attorneys have been involved in, so we're doing that. And concurrently, we're also working with the independent auditor's office to see about having a civilian audit oversight component to this. And so likely if both of those things land where I need them to land, we would probably be readjusting the policy anyway, because none of those things are reflected in the policy as it stands. And so I just think having an opportunity to be able to move the needle on that would be helpful for future policy recommendations by this group. And so that's why that was decided to be moved to a later date, just so that we could all have some better information. So with that, I will, I'm happy. I usually, when we're in person, happy to entertain a couple of questions if it's appropriate. Certainly don't want to dominate the time, but Chair, if you're so willing, I'm happy to answer a couple of questions if we do have those.
Does anybody have any questions in the commission? Any commissioners have questions? Excuse me. All right. Thank you very much, Chief. We appreciate your report.
Oh, I see Councilor Ye's hand.
Oh,
I saw you, Councilor Ye.
Oh, thank you. I actually don't have a question, but I did want to say, since Autzen is in my area and my daughter and I accidentally left our house right as everyone was leaving, which we try not to do from where I live, that the traffic control people were doing a fantastic job this last, I guess it was this last weekend. And everything was, it's always fantastic, but like it seemed extra good for some reason this last weekend. So maybe it was the first one, but thank you. I really appreciate it. I know it's so much work. There's like so many people. So, and
Yeah,
our neighborhood really appreciates the efforts.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, you know, part of why that's so fantastic, one of the challenges is that it's a new traffic pattern with the construction. So we've had to kind of figure that out. But if we could just get Coach Lanning to beat every team 69-3, then likely everybody leaves the stadium much earlier than the end of the game. And that's really helpful for us when people start leaving at halftime and then spend the next 2 quarters leaving. And so I don't suppose that will happen every weekend, but that certainly helps.
We'll see what we can do for you.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Ye or Councilor Ye. Thank you, Chief. All right. So next, or does anybody else on the commission have any questions for Chief Skinner? Okay. Next, moving into the reviewing the draft of the fiscal year 2025 annual report and fiscal year 26 and 27 work plan. Does anybody want a motion? Councilor Ye.
Yeah, I just first want to say, I assume, Holly, that you put this all together every year with consultation with.
Yes, I put a draft together and then I run it past the commission leadership first, and then it comes to you, to the commission, to make your edits, changes, recommendations. And then once that's done, then it will go to council.
I just wanted to say I really like it. I think it's real set up really well. It seems like there's more photos this time, which I think is also fun. I want it, you know, it's nice to reflect that, yes, we have really important work to do and it's sometimes very hard, but also, you know, there are great people in this group, and, you know, it's just nice to see some of that too. So it's a good mix of that kind of different aspects, right? So I just wanted to say thank you for the hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Ye. Would anybody like to make a motion to discuss the fiscal year 2025 annual report?
I don't know if we need to make a motion to discuss unless you just want to approve it. I think you can just discuss it.
Can we? All right, I'm learning so much. Okay, let's discuss. Thank you. Commissioner Lyman.
Thank you. I just want to say that it's very slick and looks very nice, Holly. Thank you. Nice work. And I hope that we can live up to it and deliver some substance. So that's my wish for the fiscal year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Rady.
Yeah, I move we accept the report, that we adopt the report. That will require a second.
Second.
All right. All in favor?
I
I
I'm not sure what we're supposed to do.
all in favor. I'm
Aye.
sorry, I didn't restate the motion. All in favor of approving the fiscal year 2025 annual report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
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 Any of nays or abstentions? All right, we have a unanimous yes. Thank you. And thank you, Holly and Chief Skinner. We were going to be presenting this at the September 17th City Council work session, but they have pushed that off, and I am in great appreciation of that because, again, I will be presenting this. Well, Vice Chair and I will, I believe, be presenting this. So this gives us a little more time to get some footing under us. So thank you very much for that. Okay. All right, so we have tabled ALPR policy 1204. So next up, discussion of immigration law policy 305. Do I have to do a motion for this one, y'all? Counselor Ye.
Yes, sorry. I have a question because I was late. And I'm wondering if, so I guess I missed public comment. Did anyone speak on this particular?
So no, public comment was
It didn't happen at all. Okay, I guess
we had one person sign up and when called, we did not have that person speak up. So as of right this moment, no, we didn't have any public comment.
On this thing. Okay, excellent. That was my question.
Thank you.
I'll just share my thoughts and see if other people, I'm really interested to see what people think. But I know there's a bunch of people in the I don't know what it's called, not the panelists, the other side. And I mean, it's possible some of those people were here for this policy because it's something that people really care about. So I'm just curious what people think about waiting until our next time in case we missed some important public comment, or if we think we've got enough and we can just move forward. I'm honestly just curious what other people think.
I am going down the line, so I apologize if it's out of order. Commissioner Rady?
Yeah. Is there a way we can get, I mean, I see that there's 40 some odd people in attendance, beyond our dozen, presumably. Is there any way that they can speak at the end of our meeting? If people, you know, made the effort, it would be a shame not to hear from them. Is there any way that can be done?
Thank you, Commissioner Rady. I think that's a wonderful idea. I think moving forward, doing public comment in the beginning, and then having signups up until a certain point, which we will iron that out. It might be 4:45, just so again, I have a moment to capture everything and make sure that I can call everybody. So moving forward, I'd like to stick with that. However, today is a special day and it is a hiccup on my part. So if somebody would like to make a motion to allow time with our meeting today to allow for public comment, I'm open to that, but I'll put it to the commission to make that decision. Commissioner Lyman?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just want to respond to Counselor Ye and say that I was aware that we went remote for the reasons that the chair stated, that she was planning to be out of town. I also was aware of a public show up for comment tonight, and I would have been questioning why the move, but I understood that we had a legitimate business purpose. I was not aware of the 4:45, and I think I just heard the chair kind of affirm her desire to do that, and I object for the reasons that you stated in your. I agree with you, Counselor Ye, that we have a public, we can limit it, we can put restrictions on it, but we should have it. It should be accessible. And so, and as far as today, you know, I'm open to voting on the issue of moving it, readjusting the agenda and allowing it. I'm open to that. So thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Lyman, or excuse me, Commissioner Lyman. Counselor Groves.
Thank you, Chair. I think Commissioner Lyman and Counselor Ye covered everything I was going to say. So I'm in agreement with both of them. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
have that I'd like to add or ask.
Yes.
And this is just being absolutely one of the newer people coming on. I feel like moving this remotely onto Zoom creates a bit of a barrier for myself and also for the general public, because I don't think that people all have access to this. And it really kind of takes us out of having to look at people face to face and having people to show up. And I'm a little bit concerned about some really heavy topics that are coming up, and to find out that we're going to be doing this on Zoom in October, November, and December. Is there any way that, I don't know if this would be appropriate, but it's worth an ask, that if the commission could meet together and have you on Zoom?
I will leave that again up to the commission. If somebody wants to make a motion, I'm definitely open. Chief Skinner.
Yeah, just a couple of thoughts as we move forward. I think if the commission is going to entertain public comment, whether it's right now or after we get done discussing the immigration law 305 or the immigration law policy 305, then I would suggest anybody that's listening, we would have them email Holly so that Holly can have a list. And then Holly will call people kind of on a first come, first serve, or go through the list and make them panelists and allow them to talk. We need to figure out the logistics of the timing of this. We're kind of doing this on the fly. I mean, how much time chair per person you're going to allow, and how we're letting our folks know when their time is up, being able to do that. So, that's certainly something that we can do. I mean, we need to be dynamic and flexible and be able to do that. That's that piece. The other piece from the virtual perspective is, Commissioner Espinoza Blank, one of the things that I have to take into consideration is, for the first time in 7 years that I've been here attending Police Commission, and I actually missed the July meeting. The July meeting had an overwhelming number of people here in the downstairs in the Kilcullen community room. I have to consider, as we move forward, trying to provide a safe environment in which people can feel like they can show up. It needs to be safe for staff. It needs to be safe for commissioners. It needs to be safe for our public to be able to do that. And so if we're going to move to in person, I was going to use this time that Chair Folks needed virtually to try and figure out a way to configure my downstairs room for it to be a little bit of a safer environment than it was in July. And I don't know if commissioners that were there that evening have any comments that they want to make about that, but we do need to be a little bit more intentional and organized if we're going to entertain hosting as many as 40 or 50 people for public comment. I take safety very seriously and want to make sure that we're ready to accommodate those people from a safety perspective.
Thank you, Chief Skinner. Commissioner Lyman?
Thank you. Not trying to monopolize here. So we had a new chair and a resignation, and we had no vice chair, and the new chair wasn't going to be here. And that's when I meant a minute ago when I said we had a legitimate business purpose for going virtual, and it did not appear that we were looking to dodge the fact that a lot of public was going to show up. But if that's the case, then we should solve it. And at last month's meeting, I did say we shouldn't meet anymore at EPD, and I'll say it again. And yes, I do truly appreciate your concern for our security, and that is a real thing. And obviously, today that's a really real thing. So, but yeah, I want the public to know that we're not dodging the public. We want to hear input, and that if we need to find a safe meeting space, I'm totally on board for that. But that we had a legitimate business reason today, but that does not carry over past today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Lyman. Commissioner Lyman, Commissioner Wilgus.
I'll just add that I did not personally feel safe the way the room was set up at our last meeting, having people behind me and people behind an officer carrying a weapon felt extremely unsafe. If you need more time, Chief, to set up your meeting room, I fully support that in order to keep everybody safe. But I do always prefer to meet in person over virtual if possible, but happy to wait in order to be safe.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilgus. Counselor Ye.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll agree that the setup was not ideal. I mean, it was very clear we did not anticipate the number of folks, and it was set up for a much smaller number. So I fully agree that we need to, at the very minimum, we would need to restructure how the room was set up. If that doesn't feel good enough for the chief, I think finding another location is something we've talked about in the past anyway. Seems like it'd be a pretty viable option. I will say I am on a number of boards and commissions, and one of the workarounds for folks, when I've been on vacation and joining virtually as chair, which has happened a few times, I will just pass the responsibilities onto my vice chair. And so that, because it is difficult to chair a meeting virtually, especially when everyone else is in person, but it does work. And I think it would work should we be able to find a place for the rest of us that Commissioner Folks could still participate, but she wouldn't have to worry about running the meeting with that added stress of being virtual. It's just a suggestion of something I've done in the past.
Thank you, Counselor. Yeah, that is helpful. I'll be transparent with everybody. I will be out of the state in October. November, I'm having surgery. So, Vice Chair, you may be up. I'm going to try and make it for November, but there's a chance I'll be home. So, if you all want to get together in person, I love being in person. I think it's wonderful, and there's snacks. So I am in support of that. It really is, I'm trying to ask for accommodations to do the best I can with what I've got. I agree. I think in person is wonderful, and it's a network opportunity. You get to meet folks and talk with them, and it's pretty great. We learned from last time that, yeah, the room setup, I'll just say it sucked. It wasn't great. And now we know we can do it better, and we will. So I think with that, there's a few things I've heard that I want to address. So the virtual moving forward. I don't know if we need to vote on it, so please correct me, please chime in. By the way, all commissioners, please, you've been doing a fabulous job so far, but if there is a point we need to vote, I've got my cheat sheet, but again, I'm not super strong with Robert's rules, so please feel free to just speak openly to correct me. So speaking up, figuring out virtual meetings. So it sounds like for October and November and December, so the 3 potential suggested virtual meetings, we could look at having in person with the rest of the commission if that is something you would like to vote on. So that's one thing. 2, the virtual sign up moving forward. So folks that, or just sign up in general, coming up with a strong, not strong, but something that's going to work for folks realistically. I was kind of trying to also follow city council, but again, I'm not super versed in their stuff. So I think that's 2 things is talking about the sign up piece for public comment moving forward. And I had another thing, but I don't remember what. Oh, public comment for this evening. So there's 3 things. So do we need to put a motion to talk about those 3 things from what it sounds like? Did I miss the mark anywhere?
Definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume that we need to make a motion to change the public comment period for today because it's part of the agenda, so it would be changing the agenda. I don't think, unless you all voted to have virtual meetings previously, I think that's more of my understanding with that would just be an administrative choice that we make based on the space that we have available in the future for October, November, and December. So that wouldn't be voting, that would just be a discussion item, I think. And then the third thing is where public comment occurs generally, right? Chair Folks, that's the other question that you have. And I think that is a discussion item, potentially. I mean, you made that decision without a vote, so I don't know if that is also a decision that can be made without a vote, but definitely a discussion item that obviously has a lot of different opinions from what we've heard so far. So it seems like the vote for sure on where public comment happens tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And just to say what I would support is an opportunity for people to provide public comment at some point, whether it's now or at the end of the meeting. Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Rady?
Yeah, I move that we, if it's technically possible, we open the floor to public comment at some point on our agenda this evening. So first we can establish that principle. Yes, we want it, or no, we don't. And then once we establish it, we can decide when.
Second.
All right. All in favor of opening up discussion for opening public comment this evening?
So first,
Discussion, please.
Chair, yeah, we should have discussion first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping
No.
ahead. Thank you for calling me out on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
please debate. Commissioner Lyman?
Thank you, Chair. If we're not going to talk about flock, and I know a big turnout is for flock, so one legitimate question is to say, should we limit public comment to the immigration issue and just we're not going to talk about it? It's not on our agenda anymore. That's an option. I don't know how, and the second thing is the policies, just Chair, are usually, oh no, we're in discussion. So that's it. Thank you.
I would like to make a comment. Again, because I'm new, it seemed like the time that we met together in July, I felt like some of the comments were very disrespectful and rude. Is there some sort of a rule that you have on the table as to how the comments could come across? I know we have a time limitation, but if they just want to come up and yell at us, it's not functional, it's not helpful.
Thank you, Commissioner Espinoza Blank. I will ask that you please raise your hand next time for comment. As a one order, I'm learning this too. Thank you. And let's see here. I had Chief Skinner.
Yeah, just offer some suggestions as you guys navigate this. What I would suggest to answer your question, Commissioner Espinoza Blank, the public comment period is open public comment. It is mostly free speech protected, whether it feels disrespectful or not. Unfortunately, I mean that can feel heavy, but we will allow for that comment. If it becomes abusive, then the chair has the ability to mute that person. So we always ask for a respectful comment that's happening, but for the most part, we adhere to the free speech aspects of public comment. For purposes of tonight, what I would suggest for consideration, of course, you guys, is to declare a short period of time of open sign up where people can send Holly an email with a name. Make sure you declare when that time is closed, so it's not just continuing rolling. And then let Holly have a chance to count up how many we have, identify the amount of time that you want for public comment total. Earlier in the agenda, it was 20 minutes. And then limit individuals to a reasonable amount of time per person. Generally speaking, the 2 to 3 minute range is what I've seen. I know Councilor Ye and Councilor Groves have been in this space a lot longer than I have, but that's what I've seen. But in an attempt to do this orderly, I think we need to declare that it's open to sign up, declare when it's going to be closed so that we know who Holly has, so that she can shepherd us through this, and then articulate how long each person's going to have, and then we just go down the list from there.
Thank you, Chief Skinner. Vice Chair Bradley.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to, express my support for having public comment tonight, and I appreciate your willingness to adapt the plan so that our folks in the community, our neighbors, and other citizens can participate in the process. Also, I like Commissioner Rady's initial motion, because it helps to kind of separate out, well, are we going to do it first, and then what the details are kind of in a later point. And also make mention that I do believe that the psychological safety and physical safety of all of us, it's important and should be affirmed, and I appreciate Chief Skinner's attention to that. I also want to make mention that my belief that at the last meeting, I think that we had a situation where I certainly did not feel unsafe. It felt uncomfortable, and in great part, I think that I needed to feel uncomfortable because the issue is and was far more impactful than I had at least initially thought. And so, saying all that, I think I move that we go ahead with Commissioner Rady's original motion. Call the question, I guess, as I should say.
Okay, it sounds like we're ready to put it up for a vote. So Commissioner Rady, please correct me if I'm wrong in restating the motion. The motion is to open public comment for the September 11th meeting. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Do we have any nays or abstentions? Okay, unanimous. So perfect. That has passed. Commissioner Rady?
I move we open discussion, public comment for 20 minutes after the sign up period, with 2-minute time limit on individual presentations. That will need a second.
Second.
All right, should we open that up for discussion?
I think we discussed.
Commissioner Wilgus?
Should we let people listening in know what time they can start signing up and what time that will close? May I suggest that signups can begin now and close at 7:10 p.m.?
Is that a motion or is that a just discussion?
I don't think it needs a motion.
Counselor Ye.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having some internet problems. Jack, can you repeat what you said? I can't hear you. I think it's muted.
You're muted, Commissioner Rady.
How seldom that happens that I can't be heard. I move that we open discussion, public comment for 20 minutes, 2-minute time limit per speakers, and I will accept Commissioner Wilgus' proposals as a friendly amendment, that it be open now, and what was the rest of it?
Close at 7:10.
Good. That's my motion.
Okay, so I don't know if you would consider, but if we lowered it to 1.5 minutes, we might, I mean, we have way more than 20 people, 10 people on this list. So if we just lowered it to 1.5 minutes, then, we could get a lot more people in, and just encourage folks to be brief. I know 2 is kind of standard, but I feel like people can get through it if they're, motivated to let their fellow citizens talk.
Holly.
Right now, we've got 5 people signed up. I just want to put my email address out there in case people aren't aware of it. It's H Matthews. There's only 1 T in Matthews. So H Matthews at Eugene-or.gov. You can also find my email address on the Police Commission website.
So please submit your request for public comment to Holly. We'll keep that open. I would recommend we have 34 attendees at this time. I would recommend if we could even do 35 minutes of public comment and allow 1 minute. I know that is shorter, but I know a lot of folks have shown up. That would be my suggestion. The last 35 minutes, our meeting does end at 8 and we still have policy immigration law 305 to discuss and closing comments. Commissioner Neal.
I would just add to that discussion that 35 attendees doesn't necessarily mean 35 signups. So we could always amend the public discussion time limit. Public comment time limit after seeing a sign up list that will close at 7:10, since we'll have time to adjust the agenda again after that moment.
It is reasonable. I agree with that.
And I think we still need to vote on Commissioner Reedy's motion before we commit.
Okay.
At this point, we aren't committed to a certain time yet. So
We are not. So Commissioner Rady, you had said 20 minutes at 2 minutes each. Was that the motion?
Yeah, I will leave it to the chair's discretion for the time limit for speakers, if that's acceptable for the seconder. And just so we can get this done and not take more time with it, that's coming out of the available time for public comment.
Okay. Let's vote. Public comment for the last, I'll say 30 minutes of our meeting. Jack, that does amend your time limit, if that's all right.
Go with it.
If we want to vote, all in favor, say aye.
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 all right.
Do we have any nays or abstentions? Okay. We have 30 minutes on the clock. We can adjust that as needed as a commission if we have more or less folks signing up. And Holly has that email available for y'all to please email and sign up for public comment. So next we just need to figure out when that closes. Do we need a motion for that or vote?
Use the chair's power, just pick something.
Ooh, okay. Does 7:35, is that fair for y'all out? Well, I can't
Well,
respond.
I'm sorry. Can I raise my hand?
Yes, please, Commissioner Neal.
The motion we voted on, if we were using Commissioner Reedy's language, except for the amendment that you included, Chair folks, included a termination of public comment sign up at 7:10.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. 7:10 it is. Okay. All right, are we ready to move on to immigration law policy 305?
Yes.
Thank you for your help, by the way. I appreciate you all. Commissioner Espinoza Blank?
Oh, I didn't have a question yet.
Oh, my apologies. Okay, so would anybody like to make a motion to discuss the immigration law policy 305? Commissioner Lyman?
Thank you, Chair. So this is on our agenda for discussion, so I don't know that we need a motion to discuss, but typically like the department and perhaps Sergeant Jordan or someone would launch us into a policy. Here's this one. It's the last time you looked at it. This is what's going on with it. You guys wanted to talk about it because, and either chair or EPD. But so I just sharing with you that that's typically how these would launch. So take it as you will. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lyman. I appreciate that. That does help me. So we do have Sergeant Jordan here with us this evening. Sergeant Jordan, would you like to get us started on the immigration law policy 305?
Sure. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, okay. So obviously I was gone for a few months, and I understand you all discussed this at the last meeting, potentially. I'm not sure how much we got through. What I have on my radar is just kind of a scrivener's error, and I don't have any other kind of edits that I had in mind or changes that I suggest. It's still compliant with the ORS on the matter, and it's still compliant and current in terms of how we do business. So I will kind of leave it there, and then it looks like the chief might have some stuff to say. So thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Jordan. Chief Skinner.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. I appreciate you very much and the work that you do in that policy position. And I know that you as well, with the new family are trying to hit the ground, figure this out as well. So what I would ask the commission to do, this is the existing policy by which we operate under. As you know, there are significant and specific sanctuary types of statutes on the books. 181A 820 governs what we do. And so I think in instances where we have policies that are in place that we are adhering to, it looks like the effective date was 8/23/23. Generally, we would not be taking a look at a policy this quickly after the last revision date or effective date. But because of the landscape that we find ourselves in here in 2025, I think the commission wanted to take a look at this, read through it, see if there's any recommendations you might have around adjustments to tighten up the language and or provide language that give maybe a greater assurance for our public that's paying attention. And so we don't have necessarily any recommendations, but now is a really good time, if you've had a chance to review this, to make recommendations on how maybe we adjust this policy to better meet our community's needs.
Commissioner Rady.
Yeah, I read through it and I couldn't find a thing that I found objectionable. I mean, the one line about where an officer may arrest any person who is subject of an arrest warrant issued by a federal magistrate for a criminal investigation or criminal violation of federal immigration laws. I don't like it, but there it is, and that's the law. But for the rest of it, I thought it was well written and what we would like to see. That's just me. There may be others who have objections, and I'm happy to hear them. But looks good.
Thank you, Commissioner Rady. Vice Chair Bradley.
I think Commissioner Lyman was ahead of me. I'm sorry, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner
Lyman's talking too much in this meeting, so no problem. Listen, the policy reads totally in adherence with the state statute. It's very comforting. I think Commissioner Rady was saying something similar, and Yeah, it doesn't raise concerns, and if followed, it seems appropriate. And not everyone's going to agree with our state statute and our city ordinance that follows the state statute, but it seems good, and I appreciate the opportunity to look at it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lyman. Vice Chair Bradley.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, Commissioner Lyman essentially said what I was going to say, so I don't need to say it again. Thank you, both
Thank you.
Commissioner Rady and Lyman.
Thank you, Vice Chair Bradley. All right, any further discussion? Commissioner Neal.
Sorry, I don't have much to add, but what I do want to say is I think the next step would be that we would vote on this policy. And one of the questions that I kind of have is about the public comment that we will get, and not knowing what I don't know. And so in advance of sort of having a motion to approve the policy or put the policy forward or whatever we would do, I sort of want to wait to do that if we can, or table that motion until the next meeting, just post public comment. And part of that is because, I think this is a very sensitive topic for a variety of reasons for our community, including me. I'm married to someone who is not, from this country, and while they are a citizen now, the immigration system and the sensitivity around that is very personal to me, and so I understand that people might have very specific concerns in this moment, and I'd like to hear those before we vote on the policy. So that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. Chief Skinner.
Thank you, Chair. Just as another piece of information, and I totally understand if you guys want to move this down for approval until after you hear public comments, whether that adjusts your perspective on this policy or not, it remains to be seen. But Sergeant Jordan reminded me of also complementary to this policy that you don't see. It's an internal facing document, not a public facing document, is Command Directive 25013 on July 7th, reaffirming our commitment to sanctuary laws and our policy. And so policies are great. And then we as chiefs or leaders every once in a while come right over the top and reaffirm that with a command directive that gets people's attention, reminds them of what we expect them to do. And in this particular case, that happened on July 7th.
Thank you, Chief Skinner. So do we have a motion to postpone further discussion for, policy 305 regarding immigration law? Commissioner Lyman.
Yes, so I think that the chief said it, that we asked to look at this because of what's going on in the world and our fear that, we didn't know what or who's going to be in our streets, in the coming days and weeks and months. And so we're not doing anything. They didn't change it. We're not asking for any changes. I don't think it requires a motion, but that's just me talking, so.
Okay. Commissioner Rady.
And my understanding is we either recommend the policy as it is written, or we recommend changes to it. And that would require a vote. If we're going to postpone making it accepting this policy or changing this policy, then we need to decide to do that, one or the other.
Thank you. And it sounds like there has been discussion on waiting until after public comment to vote on passing or making changes. Did I understand that correctly?
It's been discussion. We haven't
Yes.
made
Okay.
a decision.
Commissioner Neal.
Yeah, I'm happy to make a motion, but I do want to ask a question that will hopefully have larger impacts in this very specific moment. If a policy shows up on our agenda as a police commission, so what I'm understanding from Commissioner Rady is that there then is an expectation that we vote on it either to approve as is or to make changes to it. And I guess I didn't understand that that was true. Like if it is on the agenda, then we have an action item related to it. Because I feel like it could be on the agenda and we just discuss it and don't do anything about it, which is what we could do now. And so it would be helpful to know if anybody knows the sort of minutia of the procedural expectation of something that's on our agenda.
Commissioner Lyman.
Yeah, I think that's the point that I'm making is that if the police are proposing a change to a policy, or we ask to see it and we want to discuss changing it, or there's some difference in it, but in this case, I think we wanted to see what's the policy about immigration, and so I just feel a lack of, there is no action. But anyway, thanks. Thank you, Commissioner Neal.
Not gonna lie. Oh, come on, Counselor Ye.
Yeah, so I actually like the chair's idea that, a combination of people's ideas in that maybe we don't have to do anything, but should something come up in public comment and we change our mind, we could then do something. But otherwise, like, it's good, we got what we wanted. It was like, just we want to know what it is. So I'd be comfortable with that if at the end of public comment, nobody wants to make a motion to do anything, we just move on with our work plan and go to the next thing.
Can we make a motion to, thank you, Counselor Ye. Can we make a motion to do an amendment if needed after public comment? Is that an allowable thing? Counselor Groves.
Thank you, Chair. I think if we go ahead and approve it, there's nothing to stop us from coming back if we hear something that needs to be adjusted. So I would recommend we just go ahead and proceed, and then we can always revisit after the public comment period.
Thank you, Counselor Groves. Commissioner Rady?
Yeah, we can make a motion to accept it. Get it seconded, then make a motion to table it. Then it sits there, and after the next meeting, we have the option, it comes back up automatically under old business. And we then, having heard whatever public comment there is this time and next time, we can then decide to accept it or change it if we care to. So right now, that would mean a motion to accept the policy and then a motion to table the policy, procedural motion, which just puts it aside. It's cocked and ready to go next meeting. We decide there's some reason to change it, we do that. Otherwise, we just go bang. Yes, it's on the floor. Yes, we're in favor of it. Couple, it's out the door.
Thank you, Commissioner Rady. Counselor Groves.
I can appreciate what Commissioner Rady said, but it just seems like we're constantly tabling and postponing decisions that need to be made. It feels like we're sifting a lot of flour. We aren't baking much bread. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Groves. All right, does anybody want to make a motion at this time?
I move we adopt the policy as written.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
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 Any nays?
I'm abstaining, but not named.
Abstentions? Thank you, Commissioner Neal.
I'm going to abstain also.
All right. Abstention from Commissioner Espinoza Blank as well. Thank you. All right, so next, we have closing comments, commissioner comments. We have public comment, so we're moving right ahead. We're moving right ahead. All right, do you guys want to do commissioner comment now? Commissioner Rady?
Are we ready to hear from the public? Is that an option?
I think it might be an option. Counselor Grove.
I suggest we just move commissioner comments till after the public comment period, because we're going to be doing it again anyway. Why not just do it all at once and be more efficient?
Thank you, Commissioner Neal.
I'll just say that we had said that public comment sign up could end at 7:10. I don't know if we can start before the sign up ends, which I'm fine with, but just to say that people can still sign up until 7:10, which they have a couple minutes.
I was gonna say there's 3 minutes. Does anybody want to share any dad jokes or just jokes in general? They don't have to be dad related. Apologies. Excellent. All right. Well, we will give it 3 minutes. The 7:10. Commissioner Neal.
We could have just a break for a few minutes and start public comment at 7:11 so people can use the restroom or get some water or whatever they want.
I like that very much. Let me get my cheat sheet out. One moment, please.
I will add that so far we have 13 people that have signed up for public comment.
Thank you, Holly. All right. I move to recess until 7:11. That is 4 minutes. Please stretch your legs. And we'll be back.
He's got a reasonable objection. There's been a lot of talk and not a lot of talk.
Hi, Jack. Your mic's hot.
Oh, damn. I hope I didn't say anything.
Okay, it is now 7:11. Holly, do we have folks ready for public comment? And for timing purposes, I know last time was a learning moment for call to order, meeting back in session. It is 7:11. So I do believe we have folks ready for public comment. Holly, do we have a list of folks in order? And with the timer, we stated 2 minutes. It sounds like we have 13 that may have changed. You're muted, Holly, if you're
Just
I have a time.
I'm calculating, just a moment.
Thank you, Holly.
A lot came in on the break.
Okay.
We have 17. And I would like to ask if you have those that are wanting to make public comment, if you have your hand raised, please remove your hand because some of you aren't listed as the name that you sent me. So I'm not going to know who you are. Thank you. I see the hands going down. Thank you. I'll be sure to get you though. Thank you.
Okay. I am going to share my screen for a timer for folks. I'm just using a Google timer. I thought this was worth it. Does 2 minutes still work for the commission for 17 people? Let me math. I can't math. 34 minutes? All right. So Holly, I'm going to put up the timer. Let me share my screen. Thank you for your patience. Okay. So I'm going to make it big. All right, Holly, do you want to
Yeah, just a second. My screen got skewed. Hold on a second. All right, so our first one is going to be Benjamin, and I'm going to allow Benjamin to talk now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will just read my comment word for word. Like cell phones or the internet, flock ALPRs amass data and assist in building a profile of one's life habits on a day-to-day basis. Unlike cell phones or the internet, I have no option to reduce or prevent their data collection, to opt out, or to retrieve any data pertaining to myself. We have to trust that this data won't ever be sold for private purposes, retained for a longer period, or misused, all of which are not supported by precedent. Police and federal officers have already misused flock systems in notable cases, and the data is too easily accessible to third parties to expect the avoidance of those scenarios. Flock has a financial incentive to allow data access to private third parties for a price, creating a conflict of interest. I do not want to have a detailed profile of my life available for private sale. I take efforts to prevent that. In most cases, others can make those efforts as well. EPD is removing such agency from myself and anyone else concerned. I do not, use of these cameras is also potentially in violation of the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution and existing Oregon law, specifically ORS 181A subsection 250. Their constitutionality is in active legal dispute in at least one case. Flock's network crosses a line by making public and private interests one and constitutes a genuine slippery slope into a surveillance state. I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Next speaker.
Our next speaker will be Jeffrey Gordon. And I'm looking in the list here to.
Testing, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Dr. Jeffrey Gordon, I live and work in Ward 7. Councilor Ye, I am grateful to you. First, let me say I'm sorry to hear that some members of the commission are so fearful of their own community. Though I may have harsh words for some of you, I don't wish any of you harm. Part of the reason I'm here now is that public comment was closed at the last city council before it was my turn, and I can express some of that sentiment here. it's relevant. That EPD betrayed public trust by coordinating with DHS during an immigration enforcement action just prior to Police Chief Skinner's policy announcement. They harmed the public again with their recent assault and injury of a protester. And EPD has further betrayed the trust of the community by violating the constitutional rights of Americans and immigrants with the Flock spy camera network. This has invited a potential lawsuit from the CLDC. You all can recommend policy to fix this. I must emphasize Flock spy cameras are not ALPR systems. That is a gross misrepresentation, and it's irresponsible to keep using that term when referring to Flock spy cameras. So you should recommend to the City Council to end the contract simply. And further, policy 1204 is inadequate. We need the city to institute policy enforcing that any mass data collection services must use local data storage and are on a system incompatible with sharing data offsite. It should ban any system that is capable of doing anything more than scanning plates, which Flock spy cameras do so much more than that. We further need an independent public review process with access to all data access activity within the system. That is, the ability to review any searches that have occurred. That is all. Thank you for your time. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon. Next speaker.
Drew Simran. And hold on, where's Drew? Just a second. I will find you in the list of people here. Hold on. I'm not seeing your hand, Drew.
Do we want to do next speaker and come back to?
Oh, are you blocked, Flock? I'll allow you to talk now.
Thank you. I thought I'd change my name back, but my name is Andrew Simran. I reside in the River Road neighborhood. Like many others, I have a lot of concerns about the city, the contract that we have with Flock Security. The American Civil Liberties Union has a lot of recommendations around automated license plate reading systems, and they have a lot of good recommendations for systems. And from what my understanding is that Flock security systems really are horrendous, and we need to end the contract with Flock security systems immediately. As others have said, it's more than a license plate reader system, and it is a slippery slope. These things can expand in scope once they are implemented. The hardware is out there. Much of the cost of putting them out is already done. The hardware is there to do more than automated license plate reading. It's simply, turning features on and off. It is a very slippery slope. It can be easily done. And the community really doesn't want this. We need to end the contract with Flock Security. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the ability to provide comment in this fashion. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Next speaker.
Harry Pratt. And Terry, if you'll raise your hand. There you go.
Hi, my name is Terry Pratt, and I'm not going to speak to the Flock issue tonight because I'm going to wait until after the other meeting. I do want to address something that I heard Chief Skinner mention earlier in this meeting today about the safety at the federal buildings. There are a number of people who come to the federal building on Tuesdays. They are a mix of legal observers of the ICE detentions that are happening there. There are faith-based people who've come to support the people coming to their appointments that they have no choice about. There are advocates in the community making sure that those folks have legal representation and that their families are supported should they be swept from the city without any ability to have people know where they're going. And there are protesters and other folks at those meetings. None of those people are doing anything illegal. None of those people are posing a danger to anyone coming into the building to go to the IRS or the federal or to their appointment with Veteran Affairs. The sorry, no one is blocking public ingress or egress at on those days. They're there to counter the ever increasing number of DHS and ICE personnel who are coming to the building and becoming more and more aggressive, to the point where on the 26th, they assaulted protesters who were just exercising their right to free speech. It's important that they be there so that the community knows what's going on out of that building for the people who have to come to those ICE appointments. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Next speaker.
Okay, our next speaker is Ellie Urbancic. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your last name right.
Hi, thank you. I appreciate your consideration in reopening public comment, first of all. And I would like to echo the comments expressed at Monday night City Council meeting and emphasize that the AI-powered flock system is going to endanger our most marginalized community members. It's been shown in practice to make frequent mistakes, increase altercations between police and innocent civilians, contribute to the unconstitutional detention of immigrants and women seeking abortions, and opens the city of Eugene to exorbitantly expensive lawsuits funded by taxpayer dollars. This surveillance network endangers the most vulnerable population of our city during a time in which innocent men, women, children, and disabled elderly people, pregnant women, are kidnapped on their own streets and sent to holding centers which historically resemble concentration camps in function and operation. I would like to call on you, the Eugene Police Commission, to do everything in your power to stop these cameras from operating without local oversight immediately and end Eugene's contract with Flock. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ellie. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Rob Sheldon.
Hi, good evening. Assume you can hear me okay. Thank you, first of all, to Commissioner Ye for looking out and speaking up on behalf of the people that want to participate here. We really appreciate that. Also, Chairwoman Folks, clearly you're doing the best you can to adapt to an unexpected situation tonight. Thank you for your efforts. To Chief Skinner, it's been quite difficult to reach you, so I'm taking this opportunity tonight to address you directly. As you must already be aware, Flock's capabilities extend far beyond traditional automated license plate reader systems. It's starting to look intentionally misleading to keep describing it as an ALPR. At minimum, Flock provides you with the ability to search for vehicles by a description of the vehicle. There's also the matter of Flock's other advertised products that aren't vehicle specific, like their advertised ability to search for pedestrians by a description of the person's clothing. Even if you currently are not using those specific products, those capabilities are baked into the devices that are currently installed in our community. The public here is not poorly informed on this subject, and they deserve a bit more consideration than you've provided in your public comments so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Next commenter
is Cameron Stringfield.
Yeah, that's great.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. My name is Cameron Stringfield. I live in Ward 7, and I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I just want to express that the way that signups for public comment was silently changed to be through email and 45 minutes prior to the start of the meeting was unacceptable and very underhanded and was clearly an attempt to curb our First Amendment rights to speak truth to power. I want to say that your job here is not to be comfortable. It's to listen to the public and carry their concerns to the council and police department. The amount of people that showed up at the July Police Commission meeting was amazing, was applauded by the now resigned former Commissioner Jensina Hawkins, and was a show of our people power. No threats were made to anybody nor physical harm, just valid concerns and criticisms from constituents who have a legal right to speak their mind. I will allow others to give you more informative comments on the Flock technology, and I encourage you to listen to them carefully and openly, and to make a recommendation to the City Council to terminate the Flock contract. I would also encourage every member of this commission to read the letter that was sent from the Civil Liberties Defense Center to the city of Eugene on this matter as well. This technology has a real harmful effect on our civil liberties and our civil rights, has a chilling effect on movements of social change, and does not build trust between the city of Eugene and its people. The approval and installation of Flock were mistakes that must be reversed immediately. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cameron. Next speaker
is Jetty Eddy. Jetty, are you able to get on here?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. My name is Jetty. I'm the founder of the Barefoot Defenders. We work alongside our unhoused neighbors. We feed people every week. We provide court support, defense during sweeps. We make heaters so that people don't freeze to death, and we live alongside folks so that we can help them during sweeps. I'm here because I care about this community, and I know firsthand how dangerous the flock cameras will most likely be. Let's be clear, flock cameras are not just license plate readers, they are tracking devices. When they log when, where, and how your car is seen, building a map of your life. And that data doesn't just vanish, it can be shared, stored, and weaponized. I know this because I've been targeted by EPD. I've talked to you guys numerous times about this. I follow the law, I check land maps, I drive carefully, but I still have been harassed, stalked, and ticketed by Jackson Stramler and Lane Doggett simply for helping people survive. Last year, after the city swept a camp, I was with 4 times in 5 days. I interrupted a city council meeting out of sheer desperation, not knowing that it was illegal, and I became one of the first people in 25 years to be charged for disrupting a city council meeting. When I asked police commission how they'd stop the abuse of the cameras, they didn't reassure me. This was in the last commission meeting. EPD turned around and mocked me on their podcast. They said these cameras were a gotcha tool for criminals. In fact, I think that was you, Skinner. Well, I'm not a criminal. I'm a neighbor. I'm an advocate, and I've been treated like an enemy. And if this is happening to me, it can and it will happen to anyone who cares to resist injustice of the city. Make no mistakes. This isn't about solving crime. It's about control. These cameras will be used to intimidate advocates, outreach workers, and anyone that challenges the authority. You have the power to speak on whether Eugene will be a city of care, a city of surveillance, a city that uplifts its people, or one that crushes dissent. I'm here to say no more surveillance state in Eugene, no more criminalizing compassion, no more turning neighbors into suspects. And in the words of the late Candace King, we must fight so that we can win.
Thank you, Jetty. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Jacob Truey.
Hello there. My name is Jacob True. I'm a resident of Ward 1, and it's the first time I've ever spoken before the police commission. So one thing y'all do have the power to do is issue recommendations to city council. So one thing you could pass is there's some proposed language for your consideration. So Flock Safety, an AI surveillance system vendor and data broker, currently contracted by EPD in the city of Eugene, indiscriminately tracks the movement of all residents, regardless of their presence in a vehicle or judicial warrant. That's mass surveillance there. They trigger dangerous interactions between law enforcement and community residents due to errors and inaccuracies, as we've seen in other cities and other folks have talked about, and has been harmfully used by law enforcement authorities across the country for purposes beyond the initial stated goals of implementing the technology, such as immigration enforcement. So what y'all could do is issue a recommendation that says that you recommend the Eugene City Council, 1, cancel the City of Eugene's contract with Flock Safety, and 2, establish an advisory panel of surveillance experts and community members to recommend policies around mass surveillance in Eugene and/or perform an audit of existing surveillance systems used by EPD/the City of Eugene. Now, that is something that y'all potentially could do, or you could impanel a new advisory panel, because really the thing that sort of shocks me the most about all this is that how EPD made the unilateral decision, not approved by council, to enact these ALPRs without fully understanding just all they're doing. even ALPR, what the term that Skinner and some of the folks here have been using isn't really accurate. They collect an awful lot of data. It's more or less like a camera feed that they then use to recognize different things in there. Not only license plate, but people, animals, bicycles, you name it. I'm out of time, but I'll let other folks continue. Thank you now.
Thank you, Jacob. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Sean Townsend.
Hello, can you hear me? Wonderful. All right, so I want to start off by saying that I appreciate the chair's willingness to take on the duty of running the meeting. As someone who's ran many union meetings, I know how it is. That being said, I'd like to offer a few comments. First and foremost, if you're going to change the order of the established structure of the meeting, it needs to be done with a motion. Second, I think having public comments at the front of the meeting is a terrible idea. Without hearing your input on things, there is little room for understanding the items on the agenda, and many people can't make it right at the start of your meeting due to their work schedules. It is my belief that this change was intentional. I don't like it, and I don't think the public did either. Third, while I understand that reiterating the immigration policy is an agenda item today, the reality of the situation is that the city's immigration policy means nothing when the federal government oversteps their bounds and decides to violate our state's laws by utilizing the flock system, as well as wiping their butts with the Constitution. And finally, we don't want to be educated by the police on the technology. We simply do not want it. If you're all for these cameras, then I invite every single one of you to install one in every room of your house. The public has been showing up to these meetings and city councils in mass and spoke out about it. The comments made were disrespectful and rude because we are angry. The public has spoken. You guys need to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Next speaker.
The next speaker, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name, is Will, is it Jaboni? Go ahead, Will.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Will Gibney. I live in Ward 7. I want to thank the committee for allowing me to speak. First off, I vehemently oppose the flock cameras for all of the reasons the others have before me have the reasons they've provided. Also, I regularly protest ICE at the federal building. I've gone down there on Tuesdays. I have witnessed violence by the ICE officers towards protesters. If they're not being violent, they are definitely being intimidating and scary. This isn't bothering me. And the reason it doesn't bother me is that I spent a year in Vietnam as a Marine, and people like that, I've met many of them. The protesters, on the other hand, were very peaceful. And what we're looking at in this immigration business is nothing more than concentration camps, going after brown people for no other reason except they're brown. And I think that it would be really wise for the Eugene Police Department to steer clear of all those ICE guys and also to steer clear of the flock cameras. It's nothing but mass surveillance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Will. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Moth S. Again, that's Moth S. If you want to raise your hand. There we go. I see you. Let me just pull you over here into the chat. Hold on a second. There we go.
Good evening. First, I just want to say that I don't know who is responsible for changing how public comment was done for this meeting, but I do believe that that was a very cowardly move that goes against fostering free speech. And I want to extend my gratitude to those who fought for community voices to be heard. And now to move on to reiterating what a lot of other folks have been saying about the flock technology. This surveillance technology in question is a threat to data security, privacy, and will disproportionately harm marginalized communities. State surveillance, particularly to this level, is a gross violation of privacy. Automatic license plate readers is a misleading name for this technology, as it implies that license plates are the only thing being captured when in reality, this technology is capable of capturing and storing data of far more than that. People's fears of this technology are not unfounded, and I truly believe it's a threat to our right to protest, and inevitably this surveillance technology is going to disproportionately harm and threaten marginalized communities, which is particularly dangerous and concerning in a time of heightened bigotry when frankly there's a rise of fascism in this country. And I strongly believe, I know that this technology, if it goes forward, is going to be used unethically. And I know I can speak for myself and for many others that we do not want our tax dollars to fund a billionaire tech company that harms local communities. And just there's a long history of police surveillance and brutality in this country, and again, particularly targeting marginalized communities. And I think that these cameras are only going to target that, while also threatening privacy, data security, and democracy. And as people pointed out, Chief Skinner and EPD as a whole have broken community trust multiple times, so I don't think we have any reason to trust what they say about how this technology is going to be used.
Thank you, Moss. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Sam Edwards. There you go, Sam.
Good evening, Commission. Can you hear me? Excellent. I'm Sam Edwards of Ward 8. I understand it is the stated position of EPD that the police cannot function as effectively without flock. But overwhelmingly and repeatedly, the people of Eugene, myself included, have stated that the very real dangers of flock are not worth any possible upside. I understand that EPD believes that we are overreacting due to a misunderstanding and intends to change its public messaging accordingly. That is not what we want. We do not misunderstand. You underestimate the technical competence of your community. What we, the citizens, demand is this: police us the way that we want to be policed, without the use of flock. Thank you for allowing me time to speak.
Thank you, Sam. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Maya. Maya, if you want to raise your hand. You're still here. There we go. I see you. Let me just get to you just a second. Okay. Go ahead, Maya.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Maya. I'm just a Eugene resident, and I don't have a lot of complicated things to say, but I know it is the opinion of EPD that this will make their lives easier. But everybody here knows, and everybody not here will very quickly learn, if flock is implemented, particularly in the way that they plan, that its existence is the equivalent to a constant boot on one's neck. And people who feel the presence of a constant boot on their neck are not usually in a cooperative mood. In the long run, it will not make life easier for the police, for the population, or for anybody except for the people trying to sell those cameras to the city of Eugene. Nobody. Thank you for giving me some time.
Thank you, Maya. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Sean M. Go ahead, Sean. Just need to have you unmute, Sean.
All right, now can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the time to speak. I just want to say a few things. Please protect freedom of speech in all forms at all times. Cancel the flock contracts or advise the city council to. I haven't heard anyone besides police representatives speaking in support of these. I believe this is a moment where the pendulum has swung too far. The community is speaking up about that now, and it is you and the city council who have the power to make a change. Also, I would ask that you investigate the police procedures for storage and access of all city databases. How much information can one corrupt police officer cause to this community if they're incentivized by, for example, Homeland Security and ICE? What data that do they want that the state and city don't want them to have, but with one individual in the department, maybe they could get it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Jason Sides. You want to raise your hand? There we go. Let me just get to you just a minute. Okay, you're ready to go.
Hi, my name is Jason Sides, resident of Ward 2 and faculty at University of Oregon. I'm going to repeat myself from the other night because I didn't think I could come to this, but I'm calling on you, Eugene Police Commission, to cancel Eugene's contract with Flock and ban any further ALPR or spy camera systems in Eugene. Furthermore, you should immediately turn off Flock cameras until you've had time to properly consider it. Every second these cameras remain on endangers us all, including our immigrant neighbors. As others have already noted, Flock is an unscrupulous out-of-state corporation that we cannot trust. Lawsuits due to Flock misidentifications, which are very common, have left cities liable for huge payouts like the $1.9 million settlement paid by Aurora, Colorado. Our data, our minute-by-minute whereabouts are being collected onto servers managed by a company headquartered in Georgia, begging to be exploited, leaked, outright illegally acquired by a federal administration unbothered by concerns about the law. It is appalling that the unelected city officials, such as the chief of police, and certainly not data security experts, felt it was an appropriate use of their unelected positions to share the minute-by-minute whereabouts of every inhabitant and every voter of Eugene with an out-of-state, unscrupulous corporation, and likely with a federal administration and goon squad that has shown no hesitation tearing apart families and snatching innocent people off the streets and whisking them away in unmarked vans. Our immigrant neighbors are all loved and vital members of our community, and they are made especially vulnerable by Flock around-the-clock surveillance. Please correct this wrong, turn off the cameras tonight, cancel the Flock contract, and enact a forever ban so that spy cameras, or ALPRs, can never be undemocratically installed in Eugene again. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Zena. Go ahead, Zena.
Hello. My words are not going to be as elegant as everybody else's, but I was at the city council meeting the other day and saw and heard all the people who spoke up and heard a lot of things. And I was so convinced that after that meeting, the flock cameras were going to be turned off because there were so many people there. And then I learned that they weren't turned off, and I was kind of surprised and curious, like, okay, if all these people are wanting this, like, who makes that decision? Who, does that? It kind of feels sometimes it's a little bit of a circle. But when I heard they weren't turned off, I got curious and looked up and the flock cameras and saw there was one by my house. I live by West 11th, and I walked to it, and wasn't even pointing at the very busy West 11th Street. It was pointing at a parking lot nearby. And after hearing all the comments at the city council, it kind of almost confirmed that these cameras are not going to be doing what they said they're going to be doing. And even people in this chat, like Terry said about the federal building and people protesting outside. And if Oregon's a sanctuary state, aren't the people who are protesting people being taken away doing the right thing? Like, aren't they the ones that are actually trying to hold up the law? I don't know. I know we live in a broken system, and having cameras doesn't seem to be the thing to help right now. And so I would call on the council to advise more restorative justice practices. Restorative justice is hard. It's not easy, but I do it at my work and it's definitely worth it. It definitely helps build relationships. And I would also call to decolonize both individuals, take decolonizing classes, and also decolonize the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Zena. Next speaker.
That is all the speakers we have.
Well, alrighty then. Let me stop sharing. Okay. All right. So let's jump into commissioner comment. I think that's last where we're at this time. So I'm going to go through the list here. So Vice Chair Bradley.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate the public comment tonight. I'm interested in having more conversations, and specifically something that we really haven't heard yet in our meetings, and I have not been able to find, is the voice of the victims of crime in this. One of the things that gives me pause, specifically related to flock cameras or LPR, is that there are crimes that are stopped, and specifically, or they aid in the stop of abductions and kidnappings, and they have been publicized. I think that there's also merit in the work that our police officers do related to property destruction and of course other crimes. And on the other hand, it is overwhelming the amount of data that can be collected and stored, and the responsibility of having access to that data and using it responsibly. It's incredible and difficult. So those are my comments after the public comments tonight. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Bradley. Commissioner Espinoza Blank.
Yes, I really appreciate the public coming out and sharing their concerns and keeping our commission and the purpose of what we're gathering to do, to make sure that we're keeping our ears to the ground and really listening to them and taking it very seriously, and being very aware of how this administration has really blown through some of the legalities of what's been standing. And I can understand the fear and of wondering when it's going to come to our town. So I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate how everybody was very respectful and pleading their cases. And I guarantee you that I'm listening and I'm taking it very serious. The other thing I'd like to add is that I'm hoping that we will move away from the Zoom and we will meet in person and try to figure out a place where we can meet outside of the EPD over on Country Club Road. So with that, I think that's what I need to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Espinoza Blank. Commissioner Lyman.
Thank you, Chair. I'd just like to thank my fellow commissioners for adapting and allowing the public comment, and to Commissioner Ye, shout out for Councilor Ye for bringing that to our attention because I would not have known about the sign-up deadline. I appreciate Holly and Chair Fawkes, how you adapted and made that happen. And Vice Chair Bradley, thank you for stepping up. And I also appreciated the suggestion that perhaps he could chair some in-person meetings in the coming months. So thank you everyone for your participation and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lyman. Commissioner Neal.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who came out to give public comment. I want to just reiterate something that I think Commissioner Lyman said earlier, which is I sort of want to counter the idea that there was a nefarious purpose to moving the public comment period. I think I would just like to clarify that we are also, volunteers, members of the public who come to do this police commission thing, and Chair Folks assumed a new role on the board and wanted to make an administrative change to the way that we run the meeting just to facilitate an easier meeting. And then when it was brought to our attention as a commission, we changed that idea because some people had concerns. So for me, that's actually a board that's sort of working successfully, where we can have a conversation together and make changes to the agenda. I did not see any nefarious activity coming from Chair Folks in trying to move the agenda around. So I just wanted to state that because I do have a lot of concerns with many things happening in the world. And in this case, I just want to sort of tamper down some sentiment around that a little bit in the community if I can. The other thing I'd like to say is if we were voting to approve the policy 305 now as it stands, I would have voted affirmatively. I just wanted to make space to hear something in the testimony that would have, caused an idea to spark amongst the commission about changing that policy if we needed to. But as I read it, I think it's a very coherent and protective policy of the rights that I think are important to our community. And so I would have voted in the affirmative to that motion. Thanks. Glad to be back. I hope we're in person in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner Neal. Commissioner Reed.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank Commissioner Folks for having done a great job taking on this meeting. No easy matter, everything kind of here and there, and you did great. Thank you so much, and keep it up. I want to thank the members of the public who were patient enough to wait until we could figure out how to let them speak. And then speaking briefly, I have often spoken to public bodies, and I want to congratulate them on keeping their remarks short and to the point. I would agree with Commissioner Neal. I was one of the people who pushed for putting public comments early because I have often been to meetings to make public comments. And when I had to sit through the entire meeting till late in the night to get my few words in, I was always quite annoyed. And we also had the consideration we wanted to hear what the public had to say on the issue we were going to be making decisions on before we made the decision. So I hope you understand that. This is not an attempt to avoid hearing. This is an attempt to hear before so the input actually had some effect on what we did. And we will move on. Thank you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Reedy. Councillor Ye.
Thanks, Chair, and thank you. I think you're doing an excellent job. It is hard. I've been new trying to run a board before, and I will say I did not always do it right, but I feel like you are just doing an excellent job of listening to feedback and being flexible. And that is very much appreciated. And to everyone who came out tonight, I really appreciate you speaking out. We heard a lot at City Council, but there were a few new things tonight that I took notes on. So I do appreciate having a variety of folks be able to speak, because there are often different perspectives, even if people are in agreement. And so it does really make a difference. I hope everyone will watch or either live or a recorded version of our work session, and feel free to reach out afterwards with your thoughts. As many people have articulated, this is an important issue in our community. I know I'm getting emails with a variety of perspectives from folks in our community. So, and it kind of all started here. So I want to appreciate people for getting this conversation started. And thanks, and have a good night.
Thank you, Counselor Ye. Commissioner Wilden.
First of all, I'd like to thank Holly for your admin support tonight. I'm sure it was not easy navigating getting everybody to speak, but you did it successfully and gracefully. Thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner Folks. And thank you to the public who spoke for giving us grace as we're figuring out this online meeting this evening. And I think testimony tonight really confirmed how glad I am that we have delayed our decision on any policies until after the work session on October 8th. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilgus. Counselor Grove.
Thank you, Chair. I too want to thank Holly for your work tonight and every night on this. I know it's not easy and it can be quite demanding. And Chair Folks, I want to add my voice to thanking you for stepping up into a leadership role. They're never easy. There's never a lot of thanks, but I appreciate what you're doing. And the bottom line is we're all learning together. So I think it's we will work together. To the public that showed up tonight, I want to thank you as well for your comments. And I especially want to call out the respectful discourse. Everybody was respectful tonight, and that hasn't always been my experience in public comment periods. And I can hear you much better when you're speaking rationally, and I think it's important that we hear what you have to say. One thing I do want to caution, though, is I frequently hear people lately talking about, I speak for the community. I listen to the community all the time, and there is no common voice in this community at all. There's people with different perspectives. There's people with different orientations. I think that's part of what makes us a stronger community. But it's incorrect to think that just because you're in a room with people that agree with you, that you are speaking what everybody else believes. That just isn't the case. And so, you know, I ask that we all approach this work with humility and also a commitment to try to make our community better and stronger. There are things that were brought up that I think will be very important when we have our council work session on the flock camera system. And I'm looking forward to that as well, and trying to cut through the chaff to get at the wheat. So anyway, we'll keep after it. Also, I want to lend my voice to, I didn't see any ill intent tonight. I think it was just a series of trying to make systems work with people who aren't in town, and trying to have a meeting that was organized and at least worked. With that said, we can always learn and always strive to do better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor Groves. I admit it, I stepped in it, y'all. I did not do it well, but luckily I have a lot of folks who care about the speech of others and doing what's right and making sure that folks are heard, and I'm grateful for that. So thank you for helping me right or wrong. I am learning from this. I will move forward with this, and there will be much more. I can't promise anything, but public comment will be better. Just from hearing everybody, it was a decision. It was, now knowing what I know now, it was a bad decision to do it how we did it. So thank you for the feedback. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for the support. We have a really great work plan ahead of us, and we're going to be digging into a lot of topics. And just personally, as a human, Amelia, I'm terrified of where things are in the world, and I'm grateful that I live in an amazing community. And I will say that one thing I am learning more than anything is the passion and love and dedication of this community is rich, and people care about people here, and that I'm grateful for. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. So thank you all. I believe we're adjourned.
Thank you. Good night. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sergeant Jordan.